Hey and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 shocking ways self-hate is ruining your life. It's as simple as that. Um, I know the title is quite wow, but self-hate is a serious thing that many people deal with. And many of us people don't even realize that we are hoarding and hosting a lot of self-hate. Self-hate is what happens when there's an absence of love. When you don't love yourself and when you struggle to receive love, self-hate will take its place. And so it's very important to understand that connection. It's very important to understand the relationship that love and hate have, and the benefits of of receiving God's love and loving yourself, and the tremendously hurtful ways hate will, you know, impact and affect your life. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 3 shocking ways self-hate is ruining your life and how to stop it, what the remedy is. But before we get into the video and into today's episode, I want to share with you my uh, God's love blueprint. All right. So I don't want you to just leave this video with the things I'm going to share with you in this video, but I want you to leave with the bonus that I want to provide here today. And that is my discovering God's love blueprint. And in that blueprint, I'm teaching you how to step by step overcome negative self-talk and build lasting self-worth in just 21 days. Now, I'm saying 21 days because there's research that suggests that it takes about 21 days to build and form a habit. Now, recent research suggests that it takes more about a little over 2 months. So, the point of this blueprint is to help you understand ways and I don't want to call it strategies, but just ways of thinking that can help you love yourself more, receive God's love. And because when you do that, when you receive God's love and when you love yourself with his love and you receive it, you will learn how to overcome negative self-talk and how to build lasting self-worth, because you have worth. God created you and you have inherent worth. And so in that blueprint, I'm going to help you connect with your worth and help you connect with the love that God has for you. You see how I'm just switching up into the UK accent right here, or whatever accent we want to call it. But yeah, I'm trying to help you here to connect to God's love for you so that you can overcome that negative self-talk, which can truly stunt your growth and ability to live a fruitful and healthy life. And I'm also in the business of helping you build a lasting self-worth, because this world has a way of knocking that out of you and me, doesn't it? So if you want to get that blueprint, just go to thevincentwilliam.com/blueprint. And yeah, it's completely for free. Just download it and you're good to go. Now, regarding the ways that, the 3 shocking ways that self-hate operates in, there's multiple ways that self-hate will, cost your peace and cost your mental and emotional as well as spiritual health, possibly even your physical health, because you neglect yourself due to, not caring for yourself, but hating yourself. Um, I want to get a little deeper here today and just help you understand how to stop it too. And so, when it comes to self-hate, we have to understand that self-hate is closely linked to mental health issues. All right. So that is a sobering understanding to have. When you understand that self-hate hurts you and your mental health, then you might start thinking about, hey, this is quite serious. I might have to work on this because I don't want to keep, losing my mental health. I don't want to lose my health. I want to live a healthy and fruitful life, and it is possible to live a healthy and fruitful life. But let me ask you, do you think it is possible to live a healthy and fruitful life while hating yourself? I think the answer is no. It's not possible to live a fulfilling life when you hate yourself. And so there's a close link between mental health and self hate. And so just understanding that when you don't like yourself, all right, when you don't like yourself, your mental health is going to suffer. And you may develop mental health struggles such as depression, anxiety, fear, low self esteem, a lack of confidence, a lack of self worth. All of these things are closely related to one another. And so, um, understanding that there is a close link between those things and self hate kind of gets your foot in the door where it's like, all right, I need to do something about this. And so, um, when individuals consistently engage in negative self talk and harbor feelings of self loathing, it can lead to a downward spiral in their mental well being. And that can manifest in a number of different ways. That can manifest in a chronic sadness, a sense of hopelessness. It can manifest in even suicidal thoughts. And I myself have dealt with a lot of mental health struggles because I did not know how to connect to God's love for me. I did not know how to connect to God's um, grace and love that He has for me and mercy. And so, uh, over over a period of time, I learned to engage in behavior patterns that weren't serving me, but that continually kept deteriorating my health, or that continually led to my mental health deteriorating further and further. And so, what allowed me to rise out of that was, developing a sense of identity, developing a sense of, hey, this is who I am in God's eyes. And I don't have to perform to get his love. I don't have to pretend to be someone that I'm not, but I can come to God as I am and be my authentic self. I think that in Christianity, self has gotten a really, for lack of a better term, bad rap. And I get it. Yeah, the word talks about ourself a lot, actually. Jesus talked about, how it is important to deny ourselves and how it is important to you lose your life in order to find it. And you have to, you know, understand that there's nothing in this world that can replace a relationship with God. But many OCDers, including me, can go to very, very like large extremes here and engage in, patterns that are not serving you, that are not fulfilling you, and that are not helping you, that are not healthy. Do you believe, let me ask you this, do you believe Jesus wants you to be healthy? Do you believe that Jesus wants you to live a healthy life? And not just uh, a physically healthy life, but also a mentally healthy life and emotionally healthy life. I think that this is where it gets interesting, because if you hate yourself and if you don't like or love yourself, the answer may not be clear to you. You may not even know the answer to this question, and you may think, actually, I don't know. I don't know if Jesus wants me to live a healthy life. He just wants me to sacrifice and live for Him and His kingdom and make disciples, and He wants me to perform. Those things stem from not knowing your worth, your value, your identity. And so those things kind of come in and replace what was meant to be there in the first place, which is an understanding of how God views you and how much He loves you. And so it's very important to understand that in order to be mentally healthy, you have to be sober about, you have to have a sober look at, hey, where do I hate myself? Do I hate myself? And if so, where do I hate myself? Where do I engage in behaviors that are not kind, that are not patient, but the opposite? Which leads me to the second point here, which is relationship struggles. Self hate can severely, and I mean severely, impact relationships with others. Individuals who dislike themselves often project their insecurities and negativity onto their relationships, leading to trust issues, communication breakdowns, and a lack of intimacy. They might also push others away or settle for unhealthy relationships because they believe they do not deserve better. Um, I can really relate to this one as well because when you don't feel good about yourself in a healthy way, I don't mean arrogant or prideful, where you get to a point where you just don't care about others or lack empathy for other people. But I'm talking about when you don't like yourself, when you um, feel undeserving of anything that is good, when you feel like you are not good and you are not enough, you will probably have a tendency to push other people away because you don't feel good enough to be in that sort of relationship. You may even think that you don't deserve good relationships or healthy relationships. I myself have endured a lot of pain in relationships that clearly were not healthy because I was not strong enough to move out of them, because I wasn't strong enough to make a decision. And we'll get to that later, how self hate affects decision making. Um, but when you hate yourself, you don't have the grit. You don't have the confidence and the self worth to say, "Hey, I'm not going to let myself be treated this way. I'm not going to let you treat me that way." Self hate will actually lead you to believe that quitting a relationship like that, or pausing a relationship like that, or moving away, or moving on from a relationship like that is actually sinful. Perhaps even it may you may think that moving on from somebody that doesn't treat you well is inherently selfish, and so you keep living in a dynamic that is not healthy because you do not value yourself and you don't think that you deserve a healthy relationship. And this goes far and beyond romantic relationships. This touches any relationship you can imagine. This will influence the way you operate at your work. Um, this will influence the way you operate uh, in friendships. This will influence the way you um, operate in the church, the relationships you have there with your fellow brothers and sisters. This will influence the way you just put yourself out there on, whether it's social media or in, um, you know, publicity in general, on the street, when you meet people on the street. Um, when you don't like yourself, you will project your insecurities on other people too. You may think that they do not like you, but really it's not about them not liking you, but it's more so about you not liking yourself. And so it is a cycle because you feel like people don't like you and you feel like they reject you, but really it is you rejecting yourself. It is you not liking yourself. And so you keep projecting those things on other people. And that is a very, very difficult, difficult environment to live in, and a difficult way to live because we are surrounded by people and we deal with people every single day. one way or another, whether you're at the grocery store or you're in church or you are meeting with your family and friends or whether you're meeting some stranger on the street. It does not matter. Or whether you put yourself out there on the internet like I'm doing it right now. Um, when you do not know your value, you will struggle in your relationships. And so it's very, very important to understand that, because when you develop a healthy relationship with yourself and you start loving yourself the way God loves you, and the Bible clearly says in 1 Corinthians 13 that love is patient and kind and God is love. It says that in 1 John. So if God is love and love is patient and kind, guess what? God is patient and kind. And so that is his attitude towards you. The question is, how do you relate to yourself? Let me ask you this. Are you patient and kind with yourself right now in this season of your life? Over the last 6 to 12 months, have you been patient and kind with yourself? Today, have you been patient and kind with yourself? You may even ask, okay, but what does it even mean to be patient and kind with myself? What is patience? What is kindness? Self-hate often develops early on in the early stages of life, and it develops through relationships. If you grew up in an environment that was not very nurturing and kind and loving and patient and considerate, and you have not been exposed to those good things, then it's going to be hard to have a reference for what those things are. And that's why relationships are so important. When you um, don't have a reference for what patience is or what kindness is, it's going to be very hard to connect to patience and kindness. And so, um, learning how to manifest patience and kindness towards yourself is one of the first steps to recovery. It's one of the first steps to living a healthy life, a healthy and fulfilling life. And by that, I mean things such as living in peace, not living in constant anxiety and fear and torment. Um, Living a healthy life includes joy. It includes confidence. It includes endurance and resilience. It includes an ability to make decisions even if they are uncomfortable. And so, what you and I need to do and what we need to learn is to cultivate, and what I had to learn, what I continue to learn, is to cultivate kindness and patience towards myself. So, so important. Now, let me say this. Patience is what love can handle, and kindness is what love gives out. All right. So patience is what love can handle, what it can endure, and but kindness is what love gives out. And so start thinking in ways, okay, how can I be kind to myself today? How can I be more patient with myself? Um, that is so, so important. Because if you haven't been taught these things, then your modus operandi is probably not going to be patience and kindness. If you have not been taught how to be patient and kind with yourself, then you are probably not going to lean towards that, but you may lean towards self-criticism. You may lean towards judgmentalism. You may lean towards um, just harshness, and you may constantly evaluate what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, especially. And so, understanding how uh, those things play a role is important. You want to be kind and patient with yourself. And in cultivating kindness and patience with yourself, you'll be able to give that out to others. Jesus said, the first and the greatest commandment is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord, and you shall love the Lord your God with all of your heart, mind, strength, soul. But the second one is, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. And so there's a relationship between how I love others and how I love myself. I'm I'm called to love others as myself. But if I hate myself, how do I know how to love others? And if I do love others, how much of it is actually authentic? How much of it is just pretending to love others? How much of it is just a performance? Just things to think about. So just understand that self hate is going to have an effect on your relationships, but so does self love. Loving yourself with God's love is also going to help. It's going to affect your relationships in a positive way. When you learn to love yourself, it starts manifesting in healthier relationships. You may not lean towards dysfunctional, toxic relationships, for lack of a better word, right there. But you may have the grit to maybe move on from a relationship when you identify that it is not healthy. Yeah. All right. And so, last but not least, self hate is going to hinder and stunt your personal growth. Self hate can and will be a barrier to personal and professional growth. Um, when you don't like yourself, and you, number one, when you don't like yourself, you probably don't have a lot of confidence and you're probably pretty insecure. When you are insecure and you don't have confidence, you're probably not going to take a lot of risks. You're probably not going to put yourself out there and start a business or record an album and put it out there. You're probably not going to start that art project that you've been kind of dreaming about. Uh, you're probably not going to engage in new opportunities or challenges simply because you do not believe that you can do it. Um, I have yet to see a person that really hates themselves and doesn't like themselves and struggles with accepting themselves, that crushes it in life, and that um, is very, very successful in what they do while maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Self hate can manifest in workaholism, where you uh, where you just shift your attention from your pain by working more hours, longer hours, and that is a thing. But we have to understand that, generally speaking, self hate is going to hinder your growth professionally as well as just straight up personally. And yeah, this just leads to stagnation. When you don't make decisions, when you don't have the grit or the strength to make decisions, things are probably not going to change. I think it was Albert Einstein that said that. He had this definition on insanity, what insanity is, and he basically said that if you keep repeating, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, you are insane. Why would you get a different result if you keep doing the same thing? That simply doesn't work. And self-hate has a way of keeping you in cycles, and it has a way of keeping you in that bubble, in that comfort zone, because that is what it um in many ways is. It's just a comfort zone. um when you don't like yourself, you will not engage in new opportunities. You will not put yourself out there because you just don't have the confidence to do that. And so um, you're less likely to pursue just risks and further growth in whether it's just personal or career or your relationships. And so understanding uh, that not liking yourself and loving yourself is a serious thing, and that it does have an impact on your life, is very important. And so I want to encourage you today to make action, like to take actionable steps to move towards a more loving and healthier relationship with yourself. You know, Even in church, we often talk about having a relationship with God, right? We talk about having a relationship with God because that is so important. And then we talk about having relationships with others and how it is important to, be kind and generous and loving. But when is the last time you heard it being preached or taught that it is important to have a closer look at the relationship that you have with and to yourself? And so I want to raise awareness um, on this subject, and I want us to think about these things because they do impact us and our neighbors and our families or communities or um, our society. It has an impact on our lives, and so um, I want to encourage us and you more specifically right now to take actionable steps to move towards a more loving relationship with yourself. And so, what are some actionable steps? As I alluded to earlier, look for ways how you can be kind to yourself. What does it mean to be kind to yourself? I want you to think about this and write down a list of 10 things, 10 ways how you can be kind to yourself today or this week. You know, going on, I'm just going to share a couple of things that I have found for myself. What is a way I can be kind to myself? Watching my mood and looking for ways how I can improve my mood because my mood will determine, in many ways, it will determine the quality of my days. If I'm in a bad mood, my days are not going to be very exciting and they're not going to be very fulfilling. So, how can I improve my mood today? I found that spending time just outside in sunlight works really great for me. Going on walks, working out, having some exercise in my weekly schedule. Looking for ways how I can nourish my body with good nutrients. Um, Looking for ways how I can receive God's love for me. And then another thing I want you to think about is how can you be patient with yourself? What are ways? What are some ways that you can uh, extend patience towards yourself? Patience can be hard, especially if you're not used to it, and it may feel even wrong or even sinful to be patient with yourself because you feel like you need to have it together right now. And God is requiring you to have it together right now. And it leaves no room for process, it leaves no room for growth, but it has to happen. It had to happen yesterday. It should have happened yesterday. That's the mindset that a lack of patience comes with and portrays. So we want to understand, okay, what are some ways I can be patient with myself? Maybe I'm working on a project and I am criticizing myself constantly. Maybe I'm constantly criticizing myself for not achieving the results I actually want. All right. So maybe I'm working on a music project, maybe I'm working on a song, and while I'm producing the song, I'm criticizing myself and saying, no, this isn't good. This doesn't work. It's not, this doesn't sound good. And you're constantly criticizing and belittling yourself and your work. Patience would be uh, more like, hey, you're working on it. Number one, I'm proud of you for working on this. Perhaps you've been, procrastinating on this. You've been putting it off. Like, no, I don't want to work on my music project because, I don't know. It's just so the fact that you actually, stood up or sat down rather, unless you have a standing desk, the fact that you, like sat down and started the project, number one, is a huge win already. All right. So overcoming that barrier of just starting is already a huge win. So, number one, but then as you work on that project, just remind yourself, hey, this is a process. This is a journey. I don't have to have it all figured out right now. I'm producing stuff and I'm not going to judge my work right now in this moment. Um, I have done some research on how to write a book. There's plenty of tips out there that just talk about how to write a book. And one of the things that an experienced writer, I think a New York Times bestseller, multiple time bestseller author, uh, said was that he said, while I write, I don't judge my work. I don't judge my work. Why? Because it um, hinders me from being creative. It hinders me from getting started and then even writing a couple of hundred words or whatever. It hinders me. And so I've noticed that I am not going to criticize my work while I am, doing it, but I'm going to look at it after I've finished that session. And then I'm going to take a look at it after that, after I've done that work, and I'm only then going to edit it. And so how many times have we not even begun a project because we've already criticized the whole process while not even, we haven't even engaged in that process. And so I think that's so important. Um, and just understanding that, good things oftentimes take time. Good things take time. And so growth takes time. So I'm going to start showing up and I'm not going to judge my work. That's an example of how you can be patient with yourself. And so, to wrap it up, I'm going to go over the three insights one more time. The first one is just understand that not loving yourself, but hating yourself, again, because self-hate is the absence of love. Self-hate is the absence of love. And so understanding the relationship between love and self-hate is important. And it's important to understand that not loving yourself will lead to uh, probably can and well, it can and probably will lead to your mental health deteriorating further and further. I need to stop this video. It's getting too long. The second thing is relationships, you know, uh, or attitude uh, towards others, and towards other people uh, is often determined by the attitude that we have towards ourselves. And so working on the attitude that I have towards myself is going to result in it improving towards others as well, naturally, organically. And the third thing is just that, hey, man, if you're going to hate yourself, or hey, lady, this video is both for males and females. If you are going to hate yourself, you're going to do yourself no favor. You're not doing yourself a favor by not liking yourself, but you're actually hindering your personal growth. You're hindering your professional growth and your development in life. And so if you liked what you heard in this video, I hope you received a lot from watching this video. If you did, I want to encourage you once again to go and get the Discovering God's Love Blueprint, where you will learn step by step how to overcome negative self-talk and how to build lasting worth in as little as 21 days. And really, it's more of a daily process and it starts today. But I believe that within 3 weeks, you will see great, great changes and results. And so I want to encourage you to go to thevincentwilliam.com/blueprint and to download that PDF. And it's super easy, super quick. You can just go through it and start applying the things that are in it. And so I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like down below, share it with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any videos. All right. For now, I'm just going to say that I'm out, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.